give me a second. Okay, we are live. This is Federico Ree from Inspire Talker Radio and another segment on our show. And today's theme, I guess, is about branding. And I do have a very exceptional guest for our show. Her name is Zarina Robinson, and she's pretty much a brand expert and also a photographer. And I'll introduce you her right now. So how are you, Zarina?
Hi, thank you. Thanks for allowing me to be on your show. Hi, everybody. Nice to meet you.
Awesome. So I'm guessing this is your first hangout, and that's cool. I've done a few of these myself, so they are very relaxed, very candid, and very interactive with the global audience, I guess. So in a nutshell, Zarina, tell us a little bit about yourself and what is it that you do?
I'm in Sydney, so I'm based in Sydney, Australia, and I am a photographer, a passionate photographer, who I've discovered along the journey of the photography and that industry of creative industry that I tapping into entrepreneurs was my passion. So I've developed, and along the way in the last 5 years, the thought leadership around personal branding and imagery, as well as the way to go to market with your personal brand. So I speak about it, I write about it. Magnetic branding is my hashtag, and I really, really enjoy transforming men and women in business or corporates to understand more about themselves as a personal brand.
And obviously you've done some exceptional work until this point, and you've photographed some of my favorite celebrities or serial entrepreneurs like Richard Branson, Martha Stewart particularly is one of my favorites, Carla Zampatti and Danny Minogue, sorry. So, you know, obviously that is a testament to your ability and to your own brand. Tell us a little bit about, you know, where you started, I guess, and what, you know, gave you that unique opportunity to be in a position to interview such distinguished guests.
Actually, in fact, even just Saturday, just gone, Claude Van Damme I photographed, and wow. So that was just recent, most recent. So he's a character, but in regards to the journey and how did I get to the point of, I guess, dealing with the people that I want to deal with, and then they're not just, you know, stars, and they're not just people in the know. It's people who are startups as well. It's the type of people. It's about the mindset. So I really, really enjoyed the mindset of entrepreneurialism and the people who have a really you know, successful mindset. So I guess I've aligned myself, and that's why I've wanted to deal with those type of people. So I guess in regards to understanding your avatar is really important in business, because once you know understand your avatar, you really get to hone in on who you want to deal with. So I think that every business is really good to start there, and not, you know, in regards to what you want to do, but actually starting with who you want to deal with. But I was always I had been working in corporate, and I had a marketing background. So I have a marketing background, studied marketing, sales, fashion, people. I did photography. It was in my background. It was in my blood. My father was a photographer, but I had such a good interest in it. I didn't think, I was told a while back, oh, you can't make a business out of photography. And I always thought, well, I've got a good business mind with my family side. And then I thought, well, photography, I'll give it a crack and make a business out of it. And as typical photographers might do, a journey of wedding photography, cats and dogs, babies, waiting for 3 hours for them to smile, you know, things like that. I was like, oh my gosh, this is doing my head in. And I know that I'm here to make a change with my photography skills and my giftedness of capturing people, and other things I do as well, but using the camera as a vehicle to translate message and develop and transform people. I knew there was something more that I wanted to share, and I wanted just to know more about it and delve more deeper into it. And that's when I started homing in and niching into personal branding, entrepreneurs, women, and then I went to men, because one of my male customers is an international award-winning speaker called Matt Church, and he said, Zarina, why are you not dealing with men. And I went, I just thought women was a natural progression to start with. And then lo and behold, he did a testimonial, and then I got a whole lot of men. So it's been really cool dealing with both sexes, because men and women need men. And
absolutely, yeah, totally.
Personal branding, there's no distinction between men and women. We all need it. And it's also at different levels of where you are at as well. You might be a corporate, you might be somebody who's a CEO or CFO, you might be a middle management person, or you might be a startup entrepreneur, or you're actually an award-winning entrepreneur who needs to be out there.
So I guess what I'm hearing is that you're not just the typical photographer, you're someone who has, I guess, a passion, an eye for, and an understanding of entrepreneurship. And I love the use of that term, because, I highly regard that term myself. And I guess with an eye for entrepreneurship, you are looking for people who do want to establish their brand online and pretty much become, I guess, an influencer in their sector and in their industry. So can you sort of run us through essentially how you help customers develop that profile online, and what are the fundamental components to that?
Well, everyone's different, and everybody has a different approach that I deal with in regards to the bespoke approach and the output of their imagery online, and why, and the how, and what they're going to look like, how they're going to turn up. But the biggest thing that I do, and making sure everybody is an exercise of understanding who they are, who they serve, and how do they, what are they looking like now online, and then what do they want to look like in another, what it's really like, who do you want to attract in your business? It's either you want to deal with tire kickers in your business, or you don't.
Yep.
You want to be dealing with people who have high amount of money to spend, or you don't.
Yep. So I guess in terms of sorry, go on.
It's a way of tweaking the perception, your presence about your messaging, and making sure that actually connects with visually and on video, because I do videos as well, and connecting with your avatar. It's really important to make sure that those two align. So say, for example, if you're an entrepreneur and you really like, the way that you are as a person, you like dealing with the startups because you are really inspired by the startup market, you might want it not to put out the avatar in the way that you are as super expensive and exclusive, because startups have no money, or startups have, certain amount to spend, but they also want to be able to assess somebody who's going to help them that might be accessible, that looks accessible, but not somebody who looks like a full-on thought leader. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is that it's not really just about photography. So it's not just about having one good profile shot. It's about that consistency and that alignment across all the different platforms to create that ultimate message. And is that important in your point of view for any business owner who's trying to establish themselves online, or do you think some people can get away with it?
Okay. Some people can get away with it, if they've got a following that, Gary Devine? Gary Devine?
No, I haven't heard of him. No.
He's a personal branding guru. A lot of people know him.
Yep.
He was from the Wine Club or something, and he, swears a lot. He wears, casual clothes. He's always looks like he's out of breath, like he's about to have a heart attack, personally. But and he talks, and he's very rough and things like that. He's not refined, but he's just the way he is. Personality driven. But the people who follow him, and he's got a following, they like that because they're that type of people, and they like that sort of, that sort of inspirational type of person to deal with. So I think it's different. It's really interesting. It's really personal branding is so amazingly close to your personality.
So you don't. So basically, what you're saying is you don't necessarily have to have a squeaky image if that's not your particular persona.
If you have a rough, or if you have a high-end, polished, personal vibe about you,
Yep.
to switch over and become a little bit of a loose cannon personality and try and work with an avatar that is a bit like out there,
Yep.
it's not going to be congruent, because initially who you are will eventually come out. And so you're going to be seen, and there's going to be something not right in regards to your people that you serve. So it's going to cause incongruency, and there's going to be a bit of a mismatch.
Yep.
So if you've got people, if you know, if really that mismatch is what people go, oh, what is that? I don't quite get that person. I don't know what it is about that person. And it might be, might be the what you say, how you say it. It's what you're putting out there that is incongruent to the avatar or the type of client that you want, you're dealing with. When in fact you might actually be dealing, and you're missing the point of who you really do want to be dealing with, and it's the type of person that's sort of very close to your personality as well.
Yeah. So I've actually got a few questions coming through, which is great. One of them actually has just popped through from Sam, and Sam is asking, how often do you need to update your profile shot and other personal imagery? So I guess the way I interpret that, and let me ask you a question on top of a question, is obviously sometimes you see people who use the same image for many, many years, and then when you get to meet them in person, they've actually aged. So what is your perspective on that, plus going back to Sam's question about frequency?
Oh, I tell you, I've had it all. I've had 10-year-old wedding photos. I've had that's the before photo, and they've been on LinkedIn. I've had numerous people who've had bad photography taken of them as a business person, and they've used it for years, or they've used it for 6 months, or they've not changed it, and it's done so much harm to their brand and business that it's been completely negative experience for them. So you need to change your images every year to 2 years. Fashions change, your clothing changes, you change as a person and your vibe. Sometimes a personal brand can change your messaging, the way you are, the way you're developing as a business person, what your offers are. You might want to be doing webinars. There's a different tweaks that you have as a personal brand, and it changes in the most subtle things. So clothing, style, hair. Yes, everybody ages. And I've seen a lot of people age dramatically. For me, I've seen them dramatically change and age between the first shoot they've done with me and the second shoot they've done with me. So I've seen the changes in aging within a year. I've seen it within 2 years. That's how dramatically you can change.
It's interesting you say that. It's interesting you say that, because when I go through LinkedIn profiles, even the successful influencers that are there, I most often see their image not changing for quite a period of time, and generally it's more than the 1 or 2 that you're talking about. So are you saying potentially that's detrimental to their profile?
Oh, very. Look, at the end of the day, it's very detrimental to anyone not changing themselves and keeping up to date and fresh. I probably personally, I do about 2 shoots a year, and work with different images for the different offers I am providing. So I have a entrepreneurs collective, and an offline networking group, a meetup. So there's even images for that to suit that vibe, not as a photographer. So there's different things to use for memes, your website images, your different touch points need different images, and because images speak different messages for different forms. So say, for example, LinkedIn image and the vibe that you see of somebody in LinkedIn is going to be different to having that image on Instagram. And yeah, it's a different vibe. It's different 3/4, as opposed to the headshot, different things like that. Close-up images, blog photos also need to be a bit more thought leadership like in blog images, because you know, you're giving content or you're educating people, you're inspiring them. So, you know, there's different things to connect people with you, of who you are and what you do, and your personality. Yeah.
Yep.
People with different, you know, different ways, not just that one bland beige shot.
So you've mentioned influencers, and there are obviously a lot of people out there. Is there one particular person that you've admired and perhaps been inspired by their image, and maybe use that as a prototype for your own clients?
Gosh, look, everyone's got different influences. I love Oprah Winfrey. As a woman, she changes a lot, and she's always up to date. So she's got different offerings, and for women like her, so they kind of resonate with her. There's Ali Brown I photographed. There's different people, and different, like, you know, Richard Branson, he's a good one. He's a great person to sort of, as an entrepreneur, people understand who he is, and it's easy to sort of reflect on him and his brand for people. Yeah. And so it's about how you want your presence, and you know, if you want your presence to be felt, and you want a powerful personal brand, then I would and you want to influence people, it's about the art of your presence, your magnetic presence. So once you harness your magnetic presence, you're going to absolutely be halfway there and 3/4 of the way there, because it's about capturing the imagination and of people who they want to deal with you. And if they see that credibility in your eyes and your confidence and your clarity, then they're going to absolutely are intrigued by who you are.
Yeah. Interesting you talk about personality and you talk about individuality and all that. And I do have another question coming through from Jane, and her question is actually a good one, as far as, what if you're not photogenic, or simply you're nervous in front of the camera? How do you get around that hurdle? And you know, does everyone need to be photogenic as such?
Oh no, I had the same question to me yesterday. Oh my gosh, the same question. And you know, I have photographed thousands of people. Nobody in my eyes and my camera lens that has stood in front of me is not photogenic. Every single person I have photographed, and I can tell you right now, massive, obese, or size 6, black, white, caramel, you know, albino, whatever it is, I have photographed so many different types of people all over the world, and everybody's photogenic.
Yep.
Yeah, and there's
So I guess it's up to you to make them feel comfortable in front of the camera, and that's part of your skill to be able to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a way of being, and I think it's a mindset. I'm going to get back to mindset, because we have fear. We always have fear as entrepreneurs or people, men and women, you know, who fears about not absolutely feeling the worthiness within ourselves, worthy of being seen the best way I can, the potential that I've got. There's the fear factor of close-ups. There's the fear of not looking professional, and also the fear of putting yourself out there as a personal brand to attract the results that you do deserve. So what happens is that we hold ourselves back. And because we hold ourselves back, we lose opportunities, we lose money, we lose profit, we just don't move forward. So what happens is that we get into a spiral and nothing happens, it's negative, and you don't have a business. So what happens if you absolutely harness your mindset and you get out there and you put yourself out there as a business person who knows what they're doing, believes in themselves, and takes and harnesses who they are, and says, you know what, I'm going to deal with the person, the right photographer that will get it out of me in the essence. That means that you do your research, and you don't go to a wedding photographer for your branding. You don't go to a pet photographer for your branding. You don't do that. You don't go to a boudoir photographer for your branding images, right?
Yep.
So it makes sense to make sure that you're choosing the right type of photographer, the type of person that's going to get it out of you, your essence and your personality, in a really relatable way. And They understand what images they're going to take of you instead of you telling them, because you don't know, you're not the expert, but the photographer is. So once you harness that, then that's going to make that the output a better experience for the person who's shy, introvert, the person who doesn't have a business but doesn't know what to do first. So it's really interesting to do that steps first.
Look, it's encouraging what you're saying, I guess, and what you're saying is you can overcome your fears and your anxieties, and I guess being in front of a good photographer or an experienced photographer like yourself, Zarina, those issues will be soon overcome, I'm assuming. I guess there are other challenges and obstacles that business owners would be thinking or would face, and one of those may be a budget. So I guess with any exercise that relates to branding and so forth, it does take a few dollars. So what would be the minimum amount of budget that one would have to allocate to kind of get themselves looking somewhat professional and established online with some, hero shots?
Well, it's all an investment. It's absolutely an investment. It's an investment in your mindset. It's an investment in your business future. You're future-proofing your business. So branding is future-proofing your business, and it's about like you're looking at making sure that your hair and your makeup is perfect and good, and you're relatable. So you don't want to waste time, and making this time we don't have a lot of. So it's when looking at, I would say your investment, you're looking at easily a minimum, I don't know, just like depends on what do you call it, like people's where they are at the business and things like that, because video also is another thing for your business as well, that investment. So where, it's because I do the video branding as well and storytelling for businesses as well when they're doing their photo shoots. And it's a very, very good one-stop shop where they're actually creating their brand in so many different ways that you get it out there in one way instead of doing bits and pieces along the way. When you are launching a brand, you make that investment in, try and make that investment. I think my number one tip would be make that investment in video and your photos at the same time, because that means that you've killed, you've just worked it out all at once in the day. Yeah. So I think I guess
you're getting yourself
different people and different offers.
Yeah. I guess once you're ready and you've got the attire, you've got the location, and you're geared up and you're pumped, I guess it's smart to combine the two together and get the photography and the video done in the one go. I guess I just wanted to share this with the viewers in the meantime, and we do need to wrap up very shortly. And we call these the golden nuggets of our show, and some of the key tips that Zarina, our guest, has offered today is aligning your visual with the audio, I guess, and pretty much your message has to be aligned. And it's about developing that concise message to be influential, I guess. Updating your profile more often than not, and although there's no exact rule of thumb, you're suggesting anywhere between 6 months to maybe 2 years would be sort of a good time frame. It's also about harnessing on your mindset and really portraying that personality in you, so that you're selling yourself as far as being that particular person or persona. And good advice is investing in videography with photography at the same time. You might as well do it together. So that's great advice. So I guess for the viewers, Zarina, how would they be able to find you, and what would be the first step?
The first step is that I do educate my people a lot about personal branding. I've got a book. It's called Magnetic Branding. It was launched this year. And so that book sells in gimmicks or online from my website, which I'm really excited to offer. You can go to the shop on my website, zarinaphotography.com. That's ZAHRINA photography.com on the shop. And you can buy the book there. I'll mail it to you. Or keep on my email list, which is awesome. Just get some tips from me and you'll be great on your way. And even better still, just book in a 15-minute consultation, a brand consultation, so I can help you get to the next level that really will nail your 2017, blow it out of the water.
Great advice, Zarina, and thanks for sharing that information and pretty much how you operate. I guess if I was a startup business owner, definitely an aspiring entrepreneur, I would be definitely coming to you because you're relatable. You have sort of a switched on understanding of what successful branding is all about online, and I would have no hesitation to at least have a chat with you to really find out how you operate. So I guess we'll need to wrap up very shortly, but just before we do that, for the viewers, we do have another exciting guest coming up very shortly. He's a superstar author and of the E-Myth series, Michael E. Gerber, and he's based in America. He's also nicknamed the Godfather of Business Systems, and that will be on Inspire Talk on the 22nd of December at 8 a.m. So I'm looking forward to that one, and hoping that others will be able to join us. But just for today, I'd like to give you a huge thanks, Zarina, for your time and for your insights and words of wisdom and experience. So thanks again, and we'll touch base, I'm sure, very soon.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thanks for your time. I hope I've been helpful. Bye.
Okay, thank you. Bye.